What if I told you that the two most dominant forces in WWE history are about to join forces for the first time ever? Picture this: Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate who ended The Undertaker's streak, standing side by side with Roman Reigns, the tribal chief who's acknowledged by millions. But here's the kicker: they're not just teaming up for glory. They're uniting for revenge against a faction that's been terrorizing WWE for months. Seth Rollins' vision has crossed a line they can't come back from, and next week's SmackDown is about to witness the most explosive alliance in wrestling history. I'm about to reveal exclusive details about this earth-shattering partnership that could rewrite WWE's future forever. You won't believe what's really happening behind the scenes. In this video, we're diving deep into a rumor that's spreading through wrestling circles like wildfire. A rumor so massive it could change everything we know about WWE's power structure. The Vision has been running roughshod over WWE, leaving destruction in their wake from CM Punk to LA Knight, and they even had the audacity to put a brutal beatdown on Roman Reigns on Raw. But whispers from backstage sources suggest that Brock Lesnar is stepping back into the ring, and he's not coming alone. He's reportedly joining forces with the tribal chief himself to settle the score once and for all. This isn't just another wrestling storyline. This is a potential revolution that could flip WWE upside down. We're going to break down the storied histories of these legends, explore the Vision's reign of terror, and predict the absolute chaos that could hit SmackDown next week. Let me paint you a picture of pure dominance. Brock Lesnar isn't just a wrestler. He's a walking natural disaster who's been obliterating opponents for over 2 decades. Born on July 12, 1977, in Webster, South Dakota, this 6 feet 3 inches, 286-pound monster was destined for greatness from day one. But here's what makes his story so incredible. Before he ever stepped foot in a WWE ring, Lesnar was already proving he was superhuman. At the University of Minnesota, Lesnar dominated amateur wrestling like no one before him, capturing the NCAA Division I Heavyweight Championship. But that was just the warm-up act. When he stormed into WWE in 2002, he didn't just make an impact, he created seismic shifts that are still felt today. Picture this moment: SummerSlam 2002, Lesnar facing The Rock, one of the most beloved superstars in WWE history. In just 5 months, this rookie destroyed The Rock and became the youngest WWE champion at 25 years old. 5 months! Most wrestlers spend years trying to get their first title shot, and Lesnar conquered the mountain in less than half a year. But what truly sets Lesnar apart isn't just his accolades, it's his ability to make every match feel like a legitimate fight. His city-destroying German suplexes don't just look devastating, they've hospitalized opponents. His bone-shattering F5 has ended more careers than any other finishing move in modern wrestling. When Lesnar left WWE for UFC in 2007, he didn't just compete, he conquered, winning the UFC Heavyweight Championship and proving he's a legitimate fighter in any arena. Then came his return in 2012, and this is where Lesnar's legend reached mythical status. The moment that shocked the wrestling world happened at WrestleMania 30 in 2014. The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, 21 consecutive victories spanning over 2 decades, seemed untouchable. Legends like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and CM Punk had all tried and failed. But Lesnar didn't just end the streak, he obliterated it with such brutal efficiency that the crowd sat in stunned silence. That F5 didn't just defeat The Undertaker, it shattered the foundation of what we thought was possible in WWE. His subsequent demolition of John Cena at SummerSlam 2014 was equally devastating. Cena, the face of WWE for over a decade, was reduced to a punching bag as Lesnar delivered 16 German suplexes in a match that redefined dominance. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement that Lesnar operates on a different level than everyone else. For years, Paul Heyman served as Lesnar's advocate, crafting the perfect partnership between the Beast and the brilliant strategist. But betrayals and business complications sidelined Lesnar during some of WWE's most turbulent times. His absence was felt throughout the company, leaving a void that no one could fill. Now, with rumors swirling about his return and potential alliance with Roman Reigns, the wrestling world is holding its breath. When Lesnar steps back into that ring, he's not just returning as a competitor, he's coming back as a force of nature ready to reclaim his throne and settle old scores with the Vision. Roman Reigns' journey to becoming the Tribal Chief is one of the most compelling character transformations in WWE history, and understanding this evolution is crucial to grasping why his potential alliance with Brock Lesnar is so monumental. Born Lady Joseph Anoa'i on May 25, 1985, Reigns carries the weight of wrestling royalty in his bloodline. He's part of the legendary Anoa'i family, which includes icons like The Rock, Yokozuna, and Rikishi. But here's what makes his story fascinating. He had to forge his own path through years of adversity and fan rejection to become the undisputed head of the table. When Reigns debuted as part of The Shield in 2012 alongside Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, he was the powerhouse of the group, delivering devastating spears and Superman punches that left audiences in awe. The Shield's dominance was immediate and total, but it was Reigns who stood out as the future face of WWE. However, this is where his story takes an unexpected turn. WWE's aggressive push of Reigns as the next John Cena backfired spectacularly. Fans rejected him not because he lacked talent, but because his character felt manufactured and forced. The breaking point came at WrestleMania 31 in 2015. Reigns was set to defeat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship in what should have been his coronation moment. Instead, the crowd turned on him, booing relentlessly as he struggled to connect with the audience. Then, in a moment that changed wrestling history, Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, turning the match into a triple threat and stealing the championship from both Lesnar and Reigns. This betrayal by his former Shield brother would haunt Reigns for years and set up the personal vendetta that makes today's rumored alliance so compelling. For years, Reigns endured a unique form of torture, being positioned as the company's top babyface while being rejected by the very fans he was supposed to inspire. Main event after main event, championship after championship, the boos grew louder. But here's where Reigns showed his true character. Instead of giving up, he evolved. The transformation began during the pandemic era when, without the crowd's immediate feedback, Reigns embraced his role as a villain. The Tribal Chief character that emerged was a revelation. Gone was the forced smile and generic good guy persona. In its place stood a calculating, ruthless leader who demanded acknowledgement and respect. His alliance with Paul Heyman added layers of complexity, as the advocate who once guided Brock Lesnar now served the head of the table. This partnership elevated Reigns to new heights, making him the most compelling character in WWE. Reigns' championship reign as Universal Champion lasted 1,316 days, making him one of the longest reigning champions in modern WWE history. He didn't just hold the title, he transformed it into a symbol of absolute power. His matches with Lesnar at WrestleMania 38 and their subsequent encounters were masterclasses in storytelling, showcasing two alpha males who respected each other's abilities while refusing to back down. Now, with the Vision targeting everything Reigns has built, the Tribal Chief faces his greatest challenge yet. The rumored alliance with Lesnar isn't just about combining forces, it's about two men who've reached the pinnacle of success joining together to protect their legacies from a faction that threatens to tear down everything they've accomplished. Seth Rollins has always been a master manipulator, but his creation of the Vision represents the evolution of wrestling's most dangerous mind into something far more sinister. This isn't just another faction, it's a calculated assault on WWE's power structure, designed to systematically dismantle every hero the company has built. To understand why Lesnar and Reigns would unite against this threat, you need to comprehend the sheer scope of destruction the Vision has unleashed. The formation of the Vision wasn't random, it was strategic warfare. Rollins, the self-proclaimed Monday Night Messiah, recognized that individual dominance wasn't enough in modern WWE. He needed an army, and he assembled the perfect combination of raw power and tactical brilliance. Braun Breaker brings legitimate amateur wrestling credentials and explosive athleticism that rivals even Lesnar's college dominance. Bronson Reed adds devastating power and surprising agility for a man his size, capable of crushing opponents with his tsunami splash from the top rope. But the masterstroke was recruiting Paul Heyman as their strategist. Heyman's betrayal of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 wasn't just a shocking moment, it was a declaration of war against everything the tribal chief represented. The man who had guided both Lesnar and Reigns to their greatest victories was now using that intimate knowledge against them. Heyman knows their weaknesses, their strategies, and their psychological triggers better than anyone else in the wrestling business. The Vision's campaign of terror has been methodical and brutal. Their assault on CM Punk wasn't just a beatdown, it was a message to every veteran that their experience meant nothing against this new order. When they targeted LA Knight, they weren't just attacking a rising star, they were demonstrating that charisma and fan support couldn't protect anyone from their wrath. Each attack has been more vicious than the last, designed to break not just bodies but spirits. The beatdown of Roman Reigns on Raw was the moment that crossed every line. This wasn't just an attack on the tribal chief, it was an assault on the very concept of respect in WWE. Reigns had acknowledged his position at the head of the table through years of dominance, and the Vision's attack was a direct challenge to that authority. They didn't just want to defeat Reigns, they wanted to humiliate him, to strip away the aura of invincibility that had defined his character. What makes the Vision so dangerous is their unpredictability combined with their strategic thinking. Rollins has always been WWE's most cerebral competitor, capable of adapting his game plan mid-match to exploit any weakness. Now, with Heyman's guidance and the raw power of Breaker and Reed, he's created a faction that can dominate through both intelligence and brute force. Their psychological warfare extends beyond physical attacks. The Vision has been planting seeds of doubt throughout WWE's locker room, suggesting that the established order is crumbling and that joining them is the only path to survival. They've created an atmosphere of fear where even the biggest stars are looking over their shoulders, wondering when the Vision will come for them next. This reign of terror has pushed WWE to a breaking point where traditional rivalries and grudges must be set aside. The threat is too great for individual heroes to handle alone, which is why the rumored alliance between Lesnar and Reigns represents more than just a partnership, it's the formation of a resistance movement against tyranny. The potential alliance between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns isn't just a wrestling storyline, it's a seismic shift that could redefine the entire landscape of sports entertainment. To understand why this partnership is so revolutionary, you need to grasp the psychological and strategic implications of two alpha males who've spent years trying to destroy each other suddenly joining forces against a common enemy. From a pure wrestling perspective, this alliance creates the most dominant tag team in WWE history. Lesnar's amateur wrestling background combined with his UFC experience brings legitimate fighting credibility that few can match. His German suplexes and F5 finisher have ended more careers than any other moves in modern wrestling. Pair that with Reigns' powerhouse offense, his spear that can cut opponents in half and his Superman punch that's dropped giants, and you have a combination of devastating finishing moves that could end matches in seconds. But the real power of this alliance lies in what it represents psychologically. Lesnar and Reigns have been positioned as WWE's ultimate rivals for years. Their matches at WrestleMania 31, SummerSlam 2018, and Crown Jewel 2021 were brutal affairs that showcased two men who refused to back down from anyone. The mutual respect they've developed through these wars creates a foundation of trust that most tag teams never achieve. They know each other's capabilities intimately, having pushed each other to their absolute limits. The strategic implications are equally fascinating. Paul Heyman's betrayal of both men creates a shared motivation that goes beyond typical wrestling rivalries. Heyman guided Lesnar to some of his greatest victories, crafting the perfect advocate-client relationship that dominated WWE for years. Similarly, his partnership with Reigns elevated the Tribal Chief to unprecedented heights during his record-breaking Universal Championship reign. Now, Heyman is using that intimate knowledge against them, making this alliance not just about revenge but about survival. What makes this partnership even more compelling is how it addresses each man's individual weaknesses. Lesnar's part-time schedule has sometimes left him vulnerable to numbers games, where multiple opponents could overwhelm even the Beast incarnate. Reigns, despite his dominance, has occasionally struggled when facing multiple threats simultaneously. Together, they eliminate each other's vulnerabilities while amplifying their strengths. The timing of this alliance couldn't be more perfect from a storytelling perspective. Both men are at career crossroads where their legacies are being defined. Lesnar, now in his late 40s, is likely in the twilight of his career and wants to go out on his own terms rather than being overwhelmed by a faction. Reigns, having established himself as the head of the table, faces the ultimate test of his leadership when confronted with the Vision's systematic assault on his authority. This alliance also represents a changing of the guard in WWE's power structure. For years, individual superstars have risen and fallen based on their personal achievements. But the Vision's success has proven that the era of lone wolves dominating WWE is ending. The future belongs to strategic alliances and tactical warfare, making the Lesnar-Reigns partnership not just a response to current threats but a blueprint for how top-tier talent must operate in modern WWE. The psychological impact on the Vision cannot be understated. They've built their reputation on being unstoppable through superior numbers and strategy. Suddenly facing two of WWE's most dominant forces working in perfect harmony would force them to completely recalculate their approach and potentially expose weaknesses they've kept hidden. The ramifications of a Lesnar-Reigns alliance extend far beyond next week's SmackDown, potentially reshaping WWE's entire landscape for years to come. This isn't just about one storyline or one feud, it's about establishing new paradigms for how WWE's biggest stars interact and compete in an era where traditional boundaries are being shattered. From a championship perspective, this alliance creates fascinating possibilities that could dominate WWE's premium live events through 2025 and beyond. Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship suddenly becomes the ultimate prize in a war between titans. If Lesnar and Reigns successfully dismantle the Vision, the question becomes, who among them deserves the first shot at Rollins' title? This internal tension could create compelling storytelling where allies must eventually become rivals again, but with a foundation of mutual respect that didn't exist before. The potential for a Lesnar vs. Braun Breaker singles match represents a dream scenario that wrestling fans have been craving. Breaker, positioned as the next big thing, would face the original next big thing in a clash that could define the next generation of WWE superstars. Lesnar's amateur wrestling credentials against Breaker's collegiate dominance would create a legitimate sports feel that elevates both competitors. This match could serve as a passing of the torch moment or prove that the old guard isn't ready to step aside. The alliance also opens doors for larger-scale warfare that could culminate in WWE's most ambitious match types. A Survivor Series WarGames match featuring Team Lesnar-Reigns against the Vision would be absolute carnage inside the steel structure. Imagine the brutality of Lesnar delivering German suplexes while Reigns spears opponents through cage walls, with the confined space amplifying every devastating move. This type of match could easily headline Survivor Series 2025 and become an instant classic that fans discuss for decades. But the implications extend beyond just match possibilities. This alliance could trigger a complete realignment of WWE's roster. Other superstars who've been victimized by the Vision might rally behind Lesnar and Reigns, creating a resistance movement that spans both Raw and SmackDown. CM Punk, who's been targeted by the Vision, could find common ground with former rivals. LA Knight's charisma combined with this powerhouse alliance could create an unstoppable force for good. Even members of the Bloodline like Jey Uso and Sami Zayn might put aside past differences to support the Tribal Chief in his greatest battle. The psychological impact on WWE's locker room cannot be overstated. For months, The Vision has operated with impunity, creating an atmosphere of fear where even established stars were hesitant to stand up to them. Seeing Lesnar and Reigns unite sends a message that no faction, regardless of how dominant they appear, is untouchable. This could inspire other wrestlers to form their own alliances or take stands they previously wouldn't have dared to make. From a business perspective, this storyline has the potential to drive significant revenue across multiple platforms. The anticipation for Lesnar's return combined with the intrigue of this unlikely alliance could boost SmackDown ratings to levels not seen in years. Premium live event buy rates would likely spike as fans clamor to see how this saga unfolds. Merchandise opportunities featuring both superstars could tap into multiple fan demographics simultaneously. The long-term storytelling possibilities are equally exciting. This alliance could plant seeds for future storylines that extend well into 2026. What happens when the common enemy is defeated? Can two alpha males like Lesnar and Reigns maintain their partnership, or will their egos eventually tear them apart? The eventual dissolution of this alliance could be just as compelling as its formation, creating natural storylines for major events like WrestleMania. Perhaps most importantly, this alliance represents WWE's willingness to break traditional storytelling molds. For years, wrestling has relied on predictable patterns where rivals never truly unite unless one turns heel. This partnership suggests a more mature approach to storytelling where complex relationships can exist without simple good versus evil dynamics. It acknowledges that in the face of existential threats, even the fiercest competitors must sometimes work together. The ripple effects could influence how WWE books other major storylines, encouraging more nuanced character development and unexpected alliances that keep audiences guessing. This could mark the beginning of a new era in sports entertainment where anything truly is possible. Wrestling fam, we've just broken down what could be the most game-changing storyline in WWE history. The potential alliance between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns isn't just about two superstars teaming up. It's about a seismic shift that could redefine everything we know about sports entertainment. Think about what we've covered: Lesnar's legacy of destruction spanning over 2 decades, Reigns' evolution from rejected babyface to the undisputed tribal chief, the Vision's systematic reign of terror, and now this earth-shattering alliance that could change WWE forever. Next week's SmackDown isn't just another episode, it's potentially the beginning of a war that will determine the future of professional wrestling. The beauty of this storyline is that it works on every level. We get the spectacle of seeing two of WWE's most dominant forces unite for the first time. We get the emotional payoff of seeing heroes rise up against tyranny. And we get the long-term intrigue of wondering how this alliance will ultimately play out. But here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Lesnar and Reigns can actually coexist, or will their egos tear this alliance apart before they can defeat the Vision? Are we about to witness the greatest tag team in WWE history, or is this partnership doomed from the start? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I read every single one and respond to as many as I can. If you think this alliance will work, tell me why. If you think it's destined to fail, explain your reasoning. And don't forget to let me know which potential matchup has you most excited: Lesnar vs. Breakker, a WarGames showdown, or something else entirely. If this deep dive got you hyped for next week's SmackDown, smash that like button and share this video with your wrestling squad. Make sure you're subscribed to WWE Report with notifications turned on because this saga is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single update. Until next time, keep it loud, keep it passionate, and remember, in the world of WWE, anything can happen, and usually does. Let's go!